Hello, welcome back. Last Ninja for the Commodore 64, BBC Micro and Commodore Amiga. You're going to see them in that order. I was really surprised to see that a version existed for the BBC Micro, and that's the reason why I've chosen to do this video. Because, you know, I've not done a BBC Micro game for a while, and it's a really good games machine, and it's good to see some of the games on it are absolutely fantastic. If you've never checked the BBC Micro out, then please do so. Now, Last Ninja 2 is also on the BBC, which will come at some point. I'll do a video of that. So that's one of the main reasons why I've chosen to do this. It's a classic game from the sort of back in the era. The series is highly regarded. I've never played any of the games. It's the kind of game that looked too difficult for me, so I always kind of steered clear of it. But one of the other reasons, of course, is the Commodore 64 version is famed for its soundtrack by the late, great Ben Daglish, who sadly passed away a couple of weeks ago. So, you know, thanks, Ben, for your contributions and your legacy and your wonderful tunes across many games. You know, thanks ever so much for that. Right, okay. It's not a review. I don't get very far in it. It's just me plodding around the first level trying to sort out what to do. I should have read the plot to it. I didn't. Something to do with "You're the Last Ninja," basically, he says. So anyway, let's get into it. Commodore 64 version first. Now, as ever, the plan is just to sort of compare the versions. It's not a review. I don't get far enough into the game to sort of like review it at all. It's just giving the impressions of it. Okay, let's get into it. Right, okay, here we go. The Last Ninja for the Commodore 64. As you can hear, it's got an absolutely wonderful Ben Daglish, rest in peace, soundtrack. I say that as Ben sadly passed away recently. His music lives on, the legacy that he leaves us with, the scores that he composed for games across a variety of systems. Thank you very much, Ben. Right, like I said, I've never played Last Ninja before. This has taken a hell of a lot of working out. Who needs instructions, eh? It's not going to be a playthrough. This is just going to be just to see what the game's like, really. A very brief bit of the first level. Now, I should have read what the plot is, but I didn't. So we're just going to go into it. If you know the game, you'll know what the plot is anyway, hopefully. Right. Okay, there we go. There's my ninja bloke, and there's a baddie. Now, I've got to spend the majority of this level sort of like avoiding these twats and going around and trying to find various items that are going to be useful throughout the mission, such as keys, other weapons, smoke bombs, other bits and pieces, etc. You know, again, my sort of normal failings when it comes to playing with joysticks come to the fore here. Now, graphically, it's really nice. The isometric style takes a little bit of getting used to, but the character is animated really well. Look, you can see you can get him moonwalking. Don't know what that animation there was that he just did. But everything is like used with a combination of fire button and the joystick directions, etc. Such as I can punch, or I'm trying to punch him. Pulling down the joystick with a fire button pressed delivers a kick. But as you can see, I'm having no success. Oh, I'm having a bit now. Right, come on, let's just bash his brains in. Right, so that's one life gone already. Right, come on. Come on. Have that, sunshine. Right, and then sort of go up this way. And there's something up here to find. Stuck on that rock just there. Now, as you enter the screen, it very briefly flashes, and if you don't catch it, you don't really sort of know what it is you're here for. Now, diagonally and down and fire gives you, picks the thing up for you, which is handy. Where do I go from here? Can't remember where I go from here. Now, of course, there were 2 sequels. Now, what were your views of The Last Ninja? Now, Commodore 64 owners particularly, because of this absolutely fantastic music that's going on throughout this game. Come on, will you die, will you? Now, I don't actually know what that is I picked up there. And I'm trying to pick, he's trying to pick something up while he's having his head kicked in. Don't keep trying to pick something up while you're having your head kicked in, sunshine. Kick him in the nut. Kick him in the nads. Come on. Right. So yeah, these sort of like first bits are just sort of going around finding stuff really. Now I have had to sort of have a little bit of a look at a playthrough. Now, if I'm not careful, there we go, I managed to find that thing hanging on the bush. But the graphics, the attention to detail is really, really nice. It's blocky as in the sort of Commodore style, but it's really, really nice. And it's got a good sense of... what have I done there? Right, yeah, it's got a good sense of... like, conveys the sort of oriental theme sort of like really well. And the music sort of complements that. Now this bloke's holding something here, and it's a bit of a pain in the backside to find it, and knowing my luck it's clearly going to be something I actually need, but how'd you get it is another thing, because it's thwarted me for ages, this has. Come on. So I feel quite proud of myself really. I've managed to teach myself sort of the controls. He says, wandering away from that because I've never managed to pick that thing up yet. Right, so... yeah, he's going to kill me. But yeah, it's a really, really good game. Now, as Spectrum owners, I remember it being previewed. But, you know, nothing ever came of it. Nothing was ever sort of released. We didn't get a Ninja game until last Ninja 2. And, come on. Oh, I was doing so well, wasn't I? Just kick him. Yeah, it's, like I say though, you know, joysticks and me, we don't get on. I'm finding this really, really tricky. Oh, come on. And the Spectrum version, despite never being released, it's really weird why it wasn't released, because there is a BBC Micro version, which you are going to see as one of the segments I do. Come on. Right, so does your power regenerate? How do you reset your health, etc.? I've got to fight him again. Let's just... don't keep trying to pick stuff up, just smack him in the mouth. Kick him in the nuts, do something. Oh dear, right. That might have been my last life done. It was. But yeah, let's go back into that because that's enjoyable. And let's see if I can get a little bit further this time, shall we? Kick, 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 come on. Come on. Now you can't really see what's going on there, but basically I'm kicking the shit out of him. You know, I thought ninjas were supposed to like carry hollowed out eggs filled with broken glass and chili powder and stuff. It's not very ninja-y, is it? Just walking up to someone and hammering them to death. But never mind. Never mind. Right, see, again, just there, as I came onto the screen, flashed up. That's a weapon that I can use, that I need to sort of pick up. So, he says. Yeah, there we go. And by pressing space, I can sort of draw that. So, I'm ready to... oh, fuck me, I'm not going over there. I've tried that that way before. And it's... therein lies pain. Do not go that way. But yeah, this is a really, really impressive game. The music and everything is just so good. Animates really well. Graphic style is iconic. It's one of those games that most people would recognise if you even... right, have that. Have at you, sunshine. Come on. That's it, just stab him in the head. You've got a great big stick there. Come on. Right. And you too, you get out of it. Go on. Die. Thank you. Yeah, there we go. See, look, it just stops flashing. Very briefly. It flashes to let you know where it is. And if you're not paying attention to it, you will miss it. Haha. Have it. Oh. Oh dear. That will serve me right, won't it? Come on. There we go. That's him out of the way. Now, I'm not going to get very far in this at all. Once this go is over, that's it. That's this game done. But really, really impressive. Oh dear. Great imagination using this. Now, this Buddha, you know, you can go up to him and he will... Oh, I thought you used to tell me what it was I needed. Let's put the weapon away. No. It's not like Samurai Warrior and stuff where you've got to put your weapon away, is it? Ooh, misses. Right! Get the key! Come on. There we go. Right, let's try and get this thing that he's got on him. He's got something on him. Oh, come on. Have that one, sunshine. Oh, there's another one. Oh, Christ, this is why I hate using joysticks. My hand's killing me. Oh dear. Right. Let's try it. Oh dear. Oh, for... Ninjas can't swim. Oh. I think that might be it. Right, there we go. That was Last Ninja for the Commodore 64. A very, very impressive game, despite me being absolutely shit at it. Right, moving on to BBC Micro. Okay, welcome back. Right, Last Ninja for the BBC Micro. Now, as you can see, there's a Last Ninja 2 as well. I was really, really surprised to see that Last Ninja, both of those games came out on the BBC Micro. But if you were a BBC fan back in the day, I'm sure you'll have got some enjoyment out of them. Now, I have played it briefly. As with the Commodore 64 version that you've just seen, I'm absolutely hopeless at it. So, but anyway, let's just get into it and see what it's like. You can see the initial presentation is really sort of quite nice there. Nice sort of screen there. Those bold, leery colours that the BBC uses really well. Swig of my coffee there. So yeah, it's now loading. Look, there's your main character there. This version is by Peter Scott. It was of course released by Superior Software. Now I've asked this question before. Superior seemed to handle a lot of conversions of games that were released on the other systems by other publishers, such as Barbarian they released, which was released by Palace on everything else. But I don't know why that would be, why they didn't handle the BBC Micro versions themselves anyway. But let's get into it. You can hear it hasn't got any music on it, so we hit space to start. And there is our character, our ninja bloke. Now the controls are a bit odd on this. ZX is sort of up and down, and asterisk and question mark is sort of that way. And then I've got H for, I don't actually know what H does, hold or something like that. J and K for that, and then return is to punch, like that. Now, I had a very, very, very brief go on this game. I'm happier with it that I can play keys. Because I'm absolutely hopeless with joysticks, as you saw in the Commodore version. But even so, you know, the the sort of isometric perspective does sometimes cause problems for me. I went to press kick and he sort of faced the other way and got twatted about the head. Right, so that's him dead. So up there, and I want to press P to pick that up. So it's much more sort of intuitive, not much more intuitive, a bit more visible, the items that you've got to collect when you get to them. Now he's got a fucking big stick and all. Get out of it. Come on. Oops, a daisy. Me dead again. Now this is really quite playable, and if I owned this back in the day for a BBC Micro, I'd have been quite happy. I mean, it's moving really swiftly, as you can sort of see there. You know, the BBC wasn't a slouch when it came to sort of movement. Now if I go to this Buddha here, he will tell me what I've got to find. I've got to find the shuriken thing. If I press space, that means I can select to use a weapon. Was it P? Right, okay. So I've picked up the key there. And where I struggled with this on the Commodore, it's not so difficult to get those nunchuckers on the BBC version. Oh shit, I forgot to... Oh right, I've just wasted 2 of whatever those were in killing that twat. Right, okay, so let's press space. Let's have the... Oh dear, right, yeah, I struggled with this on the... on the C64 version. And it looks like I'm going to do exactly the same on the BBC version. Right, okay, that's really good. Let's have one more go at that. The key layout's a bit sort of strange, but if I just keep hammering return, I sort of find that even if it doesn't look like I'm hitting him, it appears that I am, which, you know, is... I'll take that. Die, you bastard. Right, so go up here and collect this thing. But yeah, this is a really nice version of the game. Bearing in mind I sort of don't know the game at all, it's really quite playable, and you know, it makes me sort of curious as to what the rest of the game's like, although I know I'm not going to be able to sort of show you it. Just fucking die, will ya? Oh, no, not you. Oh, thank you. Right, got to pick that up. He's going to tell me I've got to find the shuriken, get the key, get the nunchuckers. And the animation on the BBC version is not bad at all either. Bear in mind the graphics are a bit sort of blocky, but the jumping animation in particular is... Oh dear, shut up Baz. Oh, right, that was... shall we have one more go? Yeah, go on, let's have one more go. See if I can get a little bit further. This is playable. And it would have been a good addition to your sort of BBC Micro library. And it just goes to show sort of how viable, as many of the BBC games I've shown you are, how viable as a games machine the BBC actually is. If you disregard crap like Paperboy, which is fucking abysmal, there are some fantastic BBC Micro games. Right, up here, pick up, oh, what have I done? Hello, oh bloody hell, it's crashed. Baz has managed to crash it just before a big face-off. Okay, well, perhaps it was just not to be. Right, I was really impressed with that version. Really enjoyed that. Easier to control because I was able to use keys, even though the layout was a little bit strange, as BBC keyboard layouts usually are. But let's move on. Let's try the Amiga version. Okay, here we go. Right, Commodore Amiga version of Last Ninja. This, of course, was released in 1990 as Ninja Remix. Right, I've tried playing this. You can guess with the level of joy. But let's have a look at it, see how we go. Do I want to restore? No. There was all sorts of options to cheat on this, but I didn't select any of them. Perhaps I should have. Do I want to restore a save game? Now, the graphical presentation and the music on this is absolutely really, really nice. That screen is lovely. Let's just make the camera slightly less unwonky. Right, how do we get him going? Right, okay. So it's exactly the same premise as before. Let's just zoom in a little more so that you can see those graphics, which I have to say don't look that much of a sort of huge improvement over the original ones, but you know, they're still okay. You can still see what you're doing, etc. It seems to be exactly the same game except for extra Amiga-ized bells and whistles. Not a bad thing. Could have done with some sound effects when you're doing all that killing, etc. Instead of having the sort of music sort of play all the time. I quite like meaty sound effects when you're kicking and punching people in games. Probably is an option to turn it off. But Amiga owners, what did you think of this? And also Commodore 64 owners who graduated to the Amiga, what did you make of this? Now, I've had trouble with the picking up sort of mechanic on this. There's something there I've got to pick up. Ah, come on. And now he seems to want to walk backwards all the time. You've got to be sort of perfectly positioned for these things, and if you ain't, it won't do it. For God's sake. Yeah, well, I've had enough fannying around with that. I'm only sort of showing you what the game's like anyway. But it seems, you know, a really sort of good, faithful interpretation of the game, which is good. I don't know what the sort of sequel was like. Now, why is he not fucking doing any punching or kicking there? Oh, he is now. Now he's nearly dead. Righty-ho. That's one life gone. Now, this guy sometimes, he's a pain in the arse, basically. Kick him in the nuts. There we go. Now, apart from the sort of music being fantastic, which it is, there's not much about the game that sort of screams out that this is a, you know, sort of pushing the, come on, the Amiga to do, you know, what it can do. Now, there's a fucking, how'd you turn the bastard round, stop him walking backwards all the time? Stop it! I don't want to walk like that. Right, so come on. Yeah, the sort of picking up mechanic on this is, he said, and then managed to pick something up. You got to do right, down, and fire. Oh, there we go. When you do, he seems to have trouble walking in a straight line. I think he's pissed all the time. Look at this. See? Right, let's try and pick the key up. Oh, come on. Come on, this time. No, not this time. Ugh. This is not making for a great video, is it? Come on. I don't want to pick up the key. Look, it's right there in front of you. Oh, sod it. Oh dear. Let's see if I can get what this bloke is. We'll rob this bloke. But, you know, this is just to sort of show you, you know, what the game is like compared to the other two versions you've seen. And apart from the sort of graphical bells and whistles and the music, etc., it's really the same game. It's got a couple of the annoyances that really sort of wound me up from the Commodore 64 version. But anyway, let's Last Ninja for the Amiga, not a playthrough or anything. Absolutely fantastic music. But let's go to the outro. So there we go, 3 versions of The Last Ninja. Now, as I said in the intro, it was just a comparison. It's not a review of such. First time I've ever played the game. I was hopeless at it across all systems, as you saw. So what did I think of it? Well, I thought it was better. I enjoyed it more than I thought I was going to. There was a lot of pain in the arse potential with it. I found on the Amiga and Commodore 64 versions, particularly the picking up mechanic, it was very sort of hit and miss. Now, maybe that just as soon as you get used to it, it becomes second nature, but to me I found it quite sort of cumbersome and sort of detracted a bit from the enjoyment of the game. It was animated well, the graphics were really, really good, and of course the music on both the 64 and the Amiga versions was just outstanding. You know, really, really work of art basically, and you know, really, really decent game. I quite enjoyed what I played of it. The BBC Micro version was surprising in that, of course, it was cut down. There was no music. There was, you know, backgrounds were a lot sparser, etc. But still, it was a really fun game. And if you'd have been a BBC Micro owner back in the day and you picked that up, you'd have been quite happy with it. I'd have been quite happy with it. I don't know why I avoided it. Like I say, it was just one of those kind of games that always looked like it needed to go in there. It's really too difficult for BazBox. I'm only good at the simple games. Stuff like that is way beyond me, as you saw. But anyway, if you like the video, please let me know. If you wish to subscribe, please do so. But if you do subscribe, please, 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 as ever, take the time to join in with the conversation. Because that's what it's all about, particularly what you thought of the differences, similarities between the versions. Thank you!